We're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US.
So I find it really hilarious and coincidence that Trump is entering office pretty soon, January 20th. I find it just so hilarious that now all of a sudden all these people are like changing course. So you got Mark Zuckerberg, you got Justin Trudeau, and all these other big-time political figures and billionaires. Now they want to go visit Trump because they want to get on his good side. What are you guys afraid of? Like all of a sudden now is the big change of you guys are a freedom of expression and you're about freedom of speech and things like that. I mean, we dealt with, since 2020, it has been nothing but ridiculousness, like too much BS, man. You couldn't say what you believed, you couldn't say what you found out that was actual fact. No, you have your actual fact checkers saying, no, this is what is right and this is what is gonna be. And what you're saying is basically violence. You're encouraging a aggressive, violent kind of point of political view. I don't know. It's just hilarious, the change. I'm just rambling. Sorry.
And Friends exclusive, Meta's Chief Global Affairs Officer, Joel Kaplan, joins us live here on the couch. Joel, welcome.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you, Joel.
Great to be here on the couch on Fox and Friends.
It's great to
Glad
have
you're
you
here.
Okay, so you are announcing these big changes as of 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
If you're making big changes, does that mean you were doing something wrong before?
Look, this is a great opportunity for us to reset the balance in favor of free expression. As Mark says in that video, what we're doing today is we're getting back to our roots in free expression. There's a number of changes we're making, but if I could, and just highlight three.
Yep.
First is, as you heard, we're eliminating the third-party fact-checking system. Well-intentioned at the outset, but there's just been too much political bias in what they choose to fact-check and how, so we're just scrapping it
You
entirely.
said they, what do you mean? You mean you?
The fact checkers.
You set up your, but they're yours. Fact
Well,
checkers, right?
so the idea was they're in.
See, I like how Brian threw that in there. Yeah, the third party is yours. Facebook, Meta, Mark, the automated systems that, you know, were highlighting, putting these violations and all these other things is yours. So all these things are yours. And you're just like separating them like, no, it's us and it's these other parties and other people and groups that we hired and systems we used. And now we're going to remove it because now we're about free of expression, freedom of speech. Oh man, this world gets faker and faker.
Independent fact checkers, but they've just been too biased. And so what we're going to do instead is adopt a system like X has of community notes. So we're just going to rely on our own community of users to provide people more information about what they're seeing. And we think that's going to work
So
great.
give us an example. If we said, if the headline is Donald Trump won the presidency, then anyone in the community can write notes underneath it?
Yeah, great question. So somebody can write a note, and then the way it works is different people on the platform can sort of vote on that note. And if you get people who usually disagree, who all say, yeah, that sounds right, then that note gets put on the post and people see it. X has been doing it for a while. We think it's working really well, and we're going to adopt that system.
So, and what are the other ones? You want, I know you want to go.
Yeah, thank you. So the second one is about the rules that govern content on our platform. They've just become too restrictive over time about what people can say, including about those kind of sensitive topics that you mentioned that people want to discuss and debate: immigration, trans issues, gender. We want to make it so that, bottom line, if you can say it on TV, you can say it on the floor of Congress, you certainly ought to be able to say it on Facebook and Instagram without fear of censorship. So we're changing those rules. And then the last thing, if I could, we're also going to change how we enforce the rules. And we're going to make it so that there's way less over-enforcement and way fewer mistakes that actually make up the vast majority of censorship that people experience on our platforms. So big changes, all in service of getting us back to our values of free expression.
So, Joe, I guess the big question is where the changes.
Big changes so they could go back to their values of free expression. Am I living in another dimension or something, another world? Facebook's about free of expression. I remember back in the day where Facebook didn't have nothing like pedophilia, murders, sex, and things like that. Now you see all that there. I remember when Facebook was like high on censoring, the cursing and stuff. Now you see that on there too. But when you have something like who you want to follow politically, that's wrong. Or when something like people get sick and a sickness comes, a virus or whatever it is comes from somewhere else, and people point that out or find things out and just want to express that, this is something that they have, some information that is truth. That's wrong. I don't know.
Is coming from, because I mean, it's hard not to notice there's been a change in Mark Zuckerberg. You've seen him as, respectfully, the nerdy kid, change over to the jiu-jitsu. He's put on some lean muscle. His viewpoints have changed. His posting content, when he does speak, he's taking a meeting with Trump, taking a different stance on certain things. Are these changes coming from him or from what the public is saying?
There's no question that the things that happen at Meta are coming from Mark. But there's also no question that there has been a change over the last 4 years. We saw a lot of societal and political pressure all in the direction of more content moderation, more censorship. And we've got a real opportunity now. We've got a new administration and a new president coming in who are big defenders of free expression. And that makes a difference. One of the things we've experienced is that when you have a U.S. president and administration that's pushing for censorship, it just makes it open season for other governments around the world that don't even have the protections of the First Amendment to really put pressure on U.S. companies. We're going to work with President Trump to push back on that kind of thing around the world.
So, Joel, why now? I know you said it's a change, but did you feel restricted over the last 4 years? And this is the first time it's in your business interest to express this quest for freedom?
Well, there's no question that there's an opportunity here with a new president taking office, as I said, who really believes in free expression. And that's just going to give us the space to get back to those values that Mark has talked about for a long. Mark gave a big speech 6 years ago at Georgetown about free expression, about these values. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of political and societal pressure here and around the world that have pushed away from those values. We've got a real opportunity to reset, get back to them, and really provide a space for free expression.
How was the Biden administration putting pressure on you specifically? Were they calling where they didn't like a post? What did they say, take it down?
Yeah, so Mark talked about this in a letter he sent to the House Judiciary Committee a few months ago. That sort of outlined the way in which we got a lot of pressure around COVID in particular, to take down more content, even things like humor and satire about the pandemic and about vaccines. We did experience that kind of pressure. The decisions we made ultimately were our own, but there's a real opportunity here with President Trump coming into office with his commitment to free expression for us to get back to those values and really provide space for people to have the kind of discourse and debate they want to have.
Would you do what X did, and that is unleash independent journalists like Matt Taibbi and Bari Weiss and Michael Schellenberg onto forensically go through what you guys are actually repressing, shielding, shadow banning over the last few years? Wouldn't that be part of this cleansing process?
So we've had an opportunity to do a lot of that with the House Judiciary Committee and Chairman Jordan over the last few months and years, and he put out a really thorough report on the experience that we and other companies have had. Honestly, we're pretty focused on the future and the opportunity we have right now with the changes we're making today to really open up the space for debate and expression.
Is the idea to get out of politics totally and focus on just the enterprise of the...
Hell no, they're not going to get out of politics. That's the problem. That's the problem. The more money you have, the more famous you are, the more you have to be into politics.
Free market, people debating things? Or is it for Mark Zuckerberg to become like an Elon Musk and be influential as well, work with the next administration, or a little bit of both? I don't know.
Well, Mark's always going to be Mark Zuckerberg, but I think there is a real opportunity to work with the new administration, both on free expression, but also on American leadership in technology and innovation. This is something we've seen President Trump is really focused on, making sure that we maintain U.S. competitiveness and leadership on technology, things like AI. Those are obviously super important to our company and our industry, and we'll look forward to working with the new administration to advance those goals.
Right. And
I had enough. I mean, it's one thing that you want to like separate the third-party fact checkers and the automated systems that you use to do all the censoring, and then you blame the Biden administration for putting pressure on you guys. I understand that, but it's like the American way is about standing for what you believe in, what you feel in your heart that is right. So freedom of expression and freedom of speech is saying what you want to say, believe what you want to believe, and run your company the way you want to run it, especially when it comes to the American way. And why didn't you, Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, why didn't you guys fight it? You got the money, all you could do is just make it public. We're being pressured, and we're not going to buckle down. We're not going to back down. We're not going to let them beat us. We're trying to be free, but we're being pressured. You know? Why not that? Why not that? No, just coincidence. Trump's about to be president in 2 weeks, and now all of a sudden everybody wants to freaking damn be in the bandwagon, want to be his friend. Now they love Trump. The hypocrisy, the hypocrites is crazy right now. It's like fakeness is all over the world. Fakeness is in politics, fakeness in movies, fakeness in the industry, fakeness in money, fakeness in people, fakeness in family. If you have people that are real, cherish them. Folks, you let me know in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think Facebook, Meta, has changed and now are about free of expression? You let me know in the comment section below.